Hello everyone, it's me Devavrat Purandare and welcome to Team Yellow Dragon. In this video, we are going to make a multiplication calculator and in the last part we had made a addition calculator and that was working. So in the same way, we are going to make a multiplication calculator. So let's make our index.html. So I have made a folder called multiplication on my desktop and I have given two folders which is index.html and main.js. So I'm going to just now make the first template. Here we go. And instead of this document, we'll just keep it multiplication calculator. Here we go. Now let's make our body. So first we want an input, which will say, which is going to be number, and it's going to say it is going to have an ID of, it's going to have an ID of num1, and then it's going to say which is placeholder attribute, and it's going to say some, oops, and it's going to say enter the first number. And now let's just get that down. Alt plus shift plus down. Oops. Alt plus shift plus down. Here. Oops. Okay, so I'll just do alt plus shift plus down here. And instead of just num, let's say num2. And let's change this. Enter the first number to second. So it will say enter the second number instead of first. Then let's have a submit. So let's give a submit. So input, submit. We'll get rid of the value and let's just give it on click. And let's make it final value. Here we go. And now let's make an h1. So let's make h1. Let's give it a class of text. And let's give it a ID also as text. Oops. Let's give an ID also as text. Here we go. Let's leave it blank. Now let's import our script. Oops. Script is equal to source. Source is going to be main.js. And this is going to have a default attribute. Okay, now we are going to add the last thing, which is we are going to add a class for this class. It's going to be num1 class, and this class is going to be num2 class, and this class is going to be submit class. Here we go. This is done. And now let's open our main.js. HTML is completed. We are going to come again in HTML to add the styling property. But now let's dock down. Let's dock main.js down. And let's make a function called final value. And let's make a variable. Let's make user input 1, which is equal to document dot get element by id, and that's going to be and that's going to be num1. I think it's pass in. I don't know, num1. Let's say just num1 dot value. I'll shift it down. And let's just change this num1 to num2. And let's make this input 1 to input 2. And here also let's do the same thing. Parse and or I think it's going to be not like this. I'll just remove the parse int variable. No, it's not correct. It's not correct. I'm going to just okay, here we go, and let's make now a variable. Now let's variable, and let's name it ans, and which is, means answer, and let's give it parse int a user input 1. So now this asterisk means multiply by user input 2. Here we go. Now let's make a document. Document.get element by id, and this is going to be h1. So the id was text and dot inner html, which is going to be answer. Here we go. Let's try this out on our live server. Here it goes. It opened up my browser, and let's try this. Let's say 1 answer is 1. Yes. Let's try 15 multiplied by 2. Answer is 30. Okay, now as our calculator works, now let's go to the styling. Now let's just split screen this. I'm not split screen this. It's not going to be responsive. So we'll just go and let's just go to font.google.com, fonts.google.com /specimen, which is going to be Poppins. Here we go. Okay, now let's scroll down to light 300. Let's select style. Let's link this. Let's just copy this. Control+C. Let's go to our index.html. Let's go down. Let's just paste this. And now let's link this to our style. Link to CSS. Here we go. Let's make a new folder called style. And in that folder, let's make something called as style.scss. Oops, let's just name this style. And now let's watch Sass. Let's click on style.scss. Let's watch Sass. Here we go. It says watching over here. And it has creates So now let's go to our index.html, and now let's just give our actual style. Here we go. Let's see over here. Yes. Now let's go to body, background color, and that's going to be hashtag F4 F4 F4. Here we go. Let's see if it's worked. It has worked. See, this is white and this is the color we just put. Okay, so now let's go to H1 and let's give font family and font family, and it's Poppins. Poppins. Let's close this. Let's go over here. Let's just stay over here. Let's just see what is happening. 2 plus 3, 6. Yeah, it's in Poppins. Okay, so now let's go to input. Oops. Okay, now let's go to input. Input is going to be, okay, so input is going to be, I mean, not input. What did we mean? Okay, so num, okay, dot num 1 class, comma dot num 2 class, and that's gonna be font family. Let's just keep it to Poppins. Let's close it. Let's see if it has worked. It has worked. Let's set the padding to 0.75 em. Oops, that's too big. Let's just reduce it to 43. I think that's correct. Here we go. Background radius. Okay, not 40. It's gonna be 42. You have to do everything in ratio. So here we go. And font size, that's gonna be 7. Oh no. Background and border radius, and that's gonna be 7px. Here we go. Border style, it should be none. Border color, that should be transparent. Here we go. This is this, and it works. It totally works. Display grid. Display grid. Let's see. Here we go. Margin top, and it's going to say 7.2px. Here we go. Margin bottom. Now that's done for this both. And now let's scroll down to num2 class. Not num2 class. And let's say margin bottom, that's going to be 7px. Or let's say 14px. Here we go. Now let's do the styling for submit. So dot submit class. So that's easy. Padding is going to be 0.25 em. Here we go. And border radius. Okay, so 0.35 and radius again. Border radius is going to be 5px. Here we go. Border. Now let's see border styling. Border style. Oops, border style. None. Border color. And let's say transparent. Here we go. And let's set the color to a pale. Let's set the background color to some kind of red. And let's make the red fully pale over here. Here we go. Now we'll go to 10, 10 fours are 14 fours are 13 fours are 52. It can also give the square root, which is 13 13s are 169. Here we go. It's working. Here we go.